Hey everyone, Mano back here for another Destiny 2 solo guide video. Maybe you're looking for a really good pulse rifle in PvP, maybe you're looking to do the Crown of Sorrows raid and one phase the boss, maybe you just accidentally dropped the ball and didn't pick up the Outbreak perfected pulse rifle that came out about a month ago from the making of this video. Well, I'm here today to tell you it's going to be a lot harder to solo it than it used to be. I'm making this video on June 19th, 2019, and I'm making it because 99.9% of the videos that you find on YouTube that show you how to solo or speedrun 0 hour are frankly no longer valid. Anyone who's looking for help on how to solo this mission is not getting any help from any of those videos. All of those videos are pretty much null and void now, and that's for two reasons. One is because many of the PvE exotics that people used to run those missions, like Whisper the Worm, are completely pared down. Whitenail no longer generates ammunition. The fact that Skull of Dire Ahamkara for your Warlock no longer generates super in the way it did before. Orpheus Rigs for the Tethers and the Hunters have been pared down significantly. The second reason why is because many of those runners frankly use PC, and I haven't really seen anyone do a really good console tutorial guide on how to get this. Now, I play on PC and on console, so I understand the differences better than most people. The fact that projectile speed and damage numbers are significantly greater on PC, the fact that you can move left to right faster on PC with flicks of the mouse. The closest I've seen anyone to covering this video is Esoteric. Much love to you, dude. He covered two different videos. One is using no Whisper and no Fallen mods on 0 hour, and then he did one mission with quote-unquote console settings, but in that console settings one, he still used Whisper of the Worm at the end to complete it. So we kind of need to put those two things together. So today I'm going to show you not only how to complete 0 hour with no Whisper of the Worm post nerf, no Skull of Dire Ahamkara, no PvP Pinnacle weapons, or anything else like you see in lots of those videos out there. I'm going to show you how to do it with a pretty basic setup, so I want to help you be successful with that right now. Let's go ahead and show you the loadout to use. I'm going to be using my Sentinel Titan subclass and the Void Wall Grenade. The Void Wall Grenade is very important. We will cover that in just a minute. I'm going to be using the middle tree of Sentinel because I want to use the Banner Shield, which creates a defensive wall, in combination with Controlled Demolition. That will attach Void Detonators onto targets with any kind of a Void ability, and it will cause a significant amount of damage. It will allow me to get my health back. You will see me use it in the final section to destroy one of the tanks, which is actually really important in saving ammunition. Finally, I want to use Rally Barricades, so when we are in the heat of the moment, I can reload my weapons very, very quickly. Okay, let's talk weapons. I'm going to be using my Blast Furnace Pulse Rifle with Feeding Frenzy and Kill Clip, but you can use any pulse rifle that you want, or a Scout Rifle would be fine, something to kill little enemies at range. Next up, you need to have the Jotun Exotic Fusion Rifle. This comes from the Burgusia Forge, which is the final forge in Black Armory. You get it from forming a frame there, and exotic drops there. It seems to be the only thing that can really output a lot of damage to the final boss. Next up, you need to have a machine gun, either 21% Delirium or Hammerhead. I'm personally going to be using the 21% Delirium, which is the Gambit Pinnacle weapon from last season, mainly for the ammo capacity. The fact that it has ammo and killing tally, which is like an amped up version of Rampage, makes it a really good choice if you have it. If you have a Hammerhead, you can make do, but make sure you have a really good roll with something like Rampage on there. I would make sure that you put on a backup magazine or something like Boss Spec, so you can output a significant amount of damage to the enemies there. Next up, let's go ahead and cover armor, and probably the most important item right now. You need to have a Fallen Armaments armor mod. With the Super and Whisper nerfs, just having one Fallen Armament makes a huge difference. It says killing a fallen enemy with a grenade will generate heavy ammo. That is huge. Next up, using Doomfang Pauldrons is very important, and you'll see why during the video. Then after that, super mods, and if an ordnance mod is in your inventory, throw it on. That will work. But it's a pretty basic setup. I will be using Lion Rampants when I scale the wall, rather when I fall from the wall, just so I don't die when I am on my Titan. You'll see that during the run, I do switch to make that work. But again, your power level doesn't really make a difference. defense. If you're above 700, you don't need to worry about scaling up. It's all good. Do remember that you need to pick up the Fallen Transponder and all the other pieces before you can find Mithrax at the farm to actually start the mission. My goal for this is to basically show you where you need to go, what kind of things you're thinking about, and to give you just an idea of where the enemies are so you can clear them really easily. Run to the right-hand side of this awning and make sure you don't miss this slide like I do, but hey, I have a big fat Titan, so getting through tiny grates is not easy. Pull out your machine gun, and what you're going to want to do is chuck a grenade to 3 shanks that are back a little bit on the right-hand side. The reason I want to do that and instantly put down a rally barricade is because I want to get some heavy ammunition since I have fallen armaments on. Hopefully one of those guys will die and I will get ammunition. Then those guys with swords will push you. If you put down the barricade, they'll get stunned really easily. As soon as that's done, try and take care of one of the fallen captains. Usually he hangs out on the right side, and then immediately take your attention and push the shanks that are up on the stairs. After that, if you still have your machine gun and have some ammunition, go ahead and take those guys out. But if you don't, chuck a grenade to get some more ammunition back, take out the 3 final shanks, and then kill the final boss here. If you need to, when you feel like your life is getting low, pull out Jotun and try and hit him with that because you don't want to get into a close combat situation. Always be looking for ammunition pickups all the way through the mission. Honestly, that was not the best run I have done. I like to get out in 19 minutes and 10 seconds, but some of the enemies are frankly finicky, which you're going to see here in just a second too. You first want to focus when you are in the old tower at the 3 shanks that will hit you from a mile away. And sometimes they do that stupid teleport deal where you'll aim at them and the shanks will move back and forth and back and forth. Just take your time, hit them as best as you can, and you will be fine. Take out your machine gun if you still have it and take care of those shanks that are right behind that first pillar right there. If you don't have machine gun ammunition, shoot all of these shanks with your Jotun. They will be able to die pretty quickly and it won't be a big deal. Use this pike here, or this big support here, for cover. Take care of the left giant shank and the 2 smaller shanks over here in this area. Again, be looking for ammunition constantly. Get on top of this roof here, and you should have a grenade at that point. Chuck it down at that giant shank on the right-hand side and the 2 enemies that are there. More than likely, you will kill more than one of them and generate some heavy ammunition, and you will be good to go. Here at this section, use your Jotun to knock out the shield. If you want to, you can use primary, but I've got enough ammunition here to push forward. That is okay. So those 2 opening areas were pretty rough in terms of time for me. Part of it was those teleporting shanks up at the top right-hand side by the old vaults. But there's really nothing else you can do about that. Just keep pushing forward. If you're not in the tower hangar by 16 minutes left on the clock and you're doing it solo, I would just restart. If you are here in the hangar, what you're going to do is stay back by this staircase that I'm standing on and just clear all of the vandals and all of the shanks that you possibly can. You're at distance with them, so use your pulse or your scout, which is no big deal, and you're in cover, so just take them out as best as you can. You don't want to have to fight them when they're at an elevated position. As soon as you are done with them, go ahead and cast your super. You want to go back and forth between meleeing enemies and throwing your shield, and the reason why is with Doomfang pauldrons. If you keep doing that, you will extend your super and you will be able to keep it for a very long time. However, I am not able to clear the entire area there, which is not the end of the world. I've done better, but honestly, that was a pretty decent run. I'm going to keep moving on. What I need to do is focus on those 2 servitors on the right-hand side. Now, if you kill the top servitor, that's the most important because he can escape down to the bottom level and make a bunch of enemies immune, which is a headache and a half, and will waste your time. You will then see a couple of marauders maybe try and kill you if you haven't killed them with your super. Just back up. If they push you into that area, they will fall back, and then kill them as fast as you can. Next up, kill your servitor if they are still up. Kill any remaining guys up here and get whatever ammunition you can. You can do one of 2 things after you kill those final enemies up there. You can kill the final 2 vandals that are up on the top left-hand side. I'll wait to do that. But most importantly, you want to clear out all the shanks so you don't get killed by anything. Next up, I'm going to use the whole reason why this build exists. I'm going to use my grenade with my Sentinel Titan and the Void Wall. You will see that I'm doing massive damage, and the reason that I am able to get my grenade back so quickly is the fact that Controlled Demolition plus the Ordnance mod all together allow me to get my grenade back really, really fast. By doing it and chaining the damage between all the different legs, you'll see that right now the tank is just getting shredded, and I'm actually focusing on that servitor that's on the right-hand side. There are some Vandals that I am killing right now. You can go ahead and kill them when you're up on the top left-hand side. You can throw that grenade up on top if you want as well. But again, I want to get down below to get some ammunition. Sometimes I actually find it better to stay up on top because the Shanks and the tank don't have a clear sight line to kill you. I have plenty of heavy ammunition here in this spot, so I'm just going to go ahead and destroy the tank, and then I'll pick up that heavy ammunition as soon as that tank is toast. You want to collect as much ammunition and super energy as you can in this area. If there is a bunch of ammunition underneath the tank, don't waste your time. Keep moving. If you can't grab it right away, keep moving. Next up, you'll come into this area where there are two big rooms. The first hallway area is going to feature a fallen captain and a bunch of Vandals and Marauders. You want them to die as quickly as possible. Either use your Jotun, but in this case, I've actually got my super back, which more than likely will be the case if you're doing it right. You will have your super back pretty quickly. As soon as you can, clear all of those enemies there. Feel free to use heavy ammunition at this spot, especially if you have a grenade. What you can do is throw a grenade at this final guy right here and generate some ammunition right there. You see he dies. I only got 16 back in my magazine, but it was no big deal. As soon as you're done with that, keep moving. I've done some runs where I've been in here with 14 minutes left on the clock, but if you're in with 13 and some change, you're in pretty good shape. Make your way around the corner. We're going to face the final couple of fallen enemies here, and honestly here you just want to make sure you kill them all so that you don't end at the door with very little time left. Again, use your pulse rifle. I would save as much heavy ammunition as you possibly can get. If you get your grenade back, you want to use it in the next room. The reason why I'm using it in the next room is because there's 3 enemies in this area, and with Controlled Demolition, it will actually chain the demolition to those people that are around them. You can see that there's a little bit of like purple energy in that fallen dreg. Very easy to clear all those enemies really quickly. Keep moving through these enemies right here. Very easy to kill. Again, there will be one Marauder there, which will sometimes cause a little bit of a headache, and you are done with the first section of 0 Hour. Next is the massive jumping puzzle. I hope you're ready for that, and I would really recommend that you practice. Even if you don't get really good time on maybe a couple of your clears, practicing this solo with your character is massive. Remember, go to the left-hand side if you are doing this, because we are doing the basic 0 Hour on console. Make your way around here. You want to try as much as possible to save time. Come over here, go to the left, and go up into this room. When you go up into this room, take another left. Don't go to the right-hand side. You need to go to the area behind that bookshelf. Take your first right, shoot out the grate, come down below. You will find a grate that will fall underneath you if you stay on it for too long. Keep pushing forward, and you will find yourself on the outside of the wall. As soon as we get here, I am really quickly going to change to any gauntlet of my choice, but I need to have Lion Ramparts on a Titan. I'm going to tap my jump button 1 or 2 times at the top just to slow down a little bit, and then I'm going to hit it right before I come around the wall. That will give me enough speed and enough angle to come around underneath the wall and move to the next spot. Get up to this grate right here. You will notice that I am leaving my Lion Ramparts on. That actually helps me out a little bit in this area. Some people don't like the way that Lion Ramparts work with their normal jump, but I am using them here with pretty good success. Make your way around all the way to the top. When you find yourself up at the top, turn to your left and shoot the grate there, as long as you followed the way that I showed you. I basically went straight onto a platform and started jumping around to the left. Okay, if you see 2 grates, you're in good shape. Make your way down to the fans. Now, my only trick with the fans is as you come around through the fans, try and catch yourself either on that central platform or onto the lines that you see. You'll see here I kind of land on that line here. Try and turn yourself around as quickly as possible after you jump through. Don't try and do a jump blind. Okay, so then shoot out this grate right here. and then make your way into what is, for me on a Titan, the scariest jump. I've practiced this jump lots of times, mostly because it's really easy for a Titan to get thrown off those edges. You basically want to keep pushing jump forward and keep pressing into the wall as much as possible so that you don't die. I really recommend at least getting to this spot if you're doing some practice runs trying to solo it. There are, of course, a couple of switches that you can hit if you're running with someone else, but we're doing it solo, so there's no reason to hit it. Come around to the right-hand side, and we're going to make our way down into Trevor's area in ventilation. As we make our way down into ventilation, there are a couple of important things to know about Trevor. First of all, Trevor spawns in when you get into the ventilation area, so as you come down here, you want to wait for him to pass by. If you're going solo, he only spawns in when you go in. What you need to do when you're down here is hit the 4 switches so you can open the door that is in the top middle section. Okay, there's 2 on the left side, 2 on the right side. I'm going to take a little bit of a different path. And the reason why I take this path is, 1, it dodges Trevor through the entire thing, and B, it's actually the fastest way you can run by clearing everything. Now, when you hit any of the first buttons on any side, it's going to create a lightning barrier that you can't get through. So it's no big deal. Just hit it, wait for it. It's all good. Come around to the second left-hand switch, hit that one, and instead of going up into the top middle section, which you see many runners do, I'm actually going to come back here. Part of the reason I'm going to come back here is I'm going to cut through the middle section, which will allow me to save a significant amount of time, and it will cause me to dodge Trevor. Now, if you didn't know this, Trevor has 3 different patterns that he does. His first pattern is go all the way around the giant area. What he will do is start on the left side and go to the right. He will then go to the left on the second rotation, and then he will actually go back to the left. After he comes to the exit door, he'll actually go back to the left-hand side. I'm going to use this opportunity where I'm stuck to actually switch off of my lion ramparts after I've hit the 3rd switch. I'll come around here to the right side. I lost a little bit of time with that bad jump. And I'm going to hit the 4th switch. Now, as long as you do it in this pattern, you shouldn't hit any other significant lightning barriers. So it'll be this one right here. You see that triggered when I actually hit the switch, and then you shouldn't hit any other barriers. You may hit this top one right here, but if you slide through and are fast enough, you will be in good shape. Make your way up here onto one of the platforms. One of the other things that I've seen runners do is actually jump back and forth between the 2 different spots on the walls. For me, I just find it more consistent because I'm not worried about missing any jumps. I've got enough time on the clock. If you think that it's going to save you some time, that is fine, but I have sometimes missed those jumps and wasted 20 minutes by doing that. On console, it's a lot harder to hit those jumps back and forth. So just be careful, make your choice as best as you can. Come up here and go ahead and slide down. If you feel like you're going to die when you get down to the bottom, one little jump up in the middle is a good idea to make sure you don't die, and then go through the grate here before the stairs. Come through here and you will be down into the vault area. As you enter into the vault, just imagine you're going to come here to the right side, look for the symbol. I just turn to the right as I come out of the hole because I've memorized where that is. That saves me a significant amount of time. Okay, that's the entire jumping, running, fan, Trevor puzzle. That's everything. So now we have probably the most challenging part, clearing all of the different enemies and killing the final boss. This whole section here in the Tower Ruins coming up is pretty frantic and pretty chaotic, but if you have a system in place, it's not bad at all. Very much like Whisper of the Worm and Black Spindle before it. It's very easy to do. Just make sure you keep your mind focused and don't let the chaotic franticness take over. What you're going to do first is, as you drop in on the left-hand side, I like to clear the enemies that are minor really quickly. And the reason I want to do that is I don't want them respawning. That is one of the penalties if you leave the enemies up for too long. Some of them will start to respawn. You'll see the Shanks do that once or twice, but what I'm going to do is clear that entire left side of all the dregs and these sniper vandals. If you are getting pegged from the sniper vandals, focus on them first, because the dregs just throw mines at you. You can dodge them pretty easily. As soon as that is done, move to the middle, clear the 3 middle dregs, and you will be good to go. What you want to do now is DPS the boss enough so it will spawn the Shanks and the giant servitor. As soon as they spawn in, I'm going to cast my super, which you should easily have at this point. What you want to do with your Sentinel Titan is go back and forth between meleeing the boss to get some massive damage, and then throwing your shield at an enemy. What you want to do is go back and forth and back and forth. If you melee one of the shanks, you'll actually get your shield energy back so you can throw it. You will be in good shape. If you are on a hunter, it is still possible for you to get your super back instantly if you throw your tether at those shanks and those servitors, but be careful because the shank likes to teleport around a whole ton. After you clear that set of arc shanks, you're going to move your attention back to Syrinx here in the middle. You want him to teleport as quickly as possible, because if he doesn't teleport, the adds that are behind you, the arc shanks, will respawn, and you don't want that to happen. After that, I'm going to put down a rally barricade and just go to town. I'm going to use my Jotun as much as possible to do as much damage to that giant shank as possible. In addition, I'm going to go ahead and take care of those shanks that are solar shielded. Luckily, since I'm using Jotun, most of those enemies will die since there is a huge explosion radius around them, and you will be in good shape. Gather whatever ammunition you possibly can and move on. Next up, take care of these enemies over here. Again, arc shielded enemies. I'm going to take a second, get my life back, reload my Jotun, because again, I want to move Syrinx to the front of the map. I don't want him standing there for a long period of time. I did leave that one shank there for just a second because, again, those shanks can teleport back in. There will then be 2 shanks, 2 vandals, and a couple of dregs up at the front side. I'm then going to spam my grenade, and this is probably the most important part with this build, is spamming the grenades and your supers at the tanks, because the tanks will suck up all of your ammunition if you let them. Again, you'll see I left that one shank there, one respawned, but no big deal. They basically just duplicated, and since I killed one of them, I just need to kill the other ones, and they shouldn't respawn as long as I kill this tank in pretty good time. As soon as I open up his criticals hit spot, I'm going to go ahead and hit him. If you feel like you're getting hit from those turrets, which you don't have to kill, just move off to the right-hand side and do some damage. I need to reload, and I've got my grenade. I want my grenade to do as much damage as possible because that will get me my grenade energy back. It will allow me to actually get some heavy ammunition back if the tank dies from a grenade. You'll see here, I'm going to go ahead and spam my heavy, my machine gun again. The turret does a little bit of damage. Be careful if when he explodes, because he can do some damage. As soon as I do that, I'm going to, again, move around, see whatever ammunition and super energy I can get. I want to use my super at the final section here. Again, I'm going to DPS the boss just to make sure he didn't forget about me. There are a couple of other enemies over on that side, but not a big deal. I'm going to start damaging the left side tank. Again, I'm going to use my grenade, and in conjunction with my grenade, I'm going to use my shield. Now, this is critical. I'm going to hit my shield, and I'm going to go ahead and put up the barrier shield and just basically spam him with it. It does a massive amount of damage, and you do not take a lot of damage when the other things are shooting you at that point. You'll see that basically I just need one more shot at the left walker. All good to go. So the 2 tanks are dead. All I need to do now is kill the boss and kill the final enemies. I'm going to go ahead and leave one shank up. That shank is going to be the final shank that I leave till I kill the boss. And the reason why I don't want to kill that final shank is because if I kill all of the enemies before working on the boss, they will actually all respawn in. So the one shank on the right-hand side, I'm leaving for a reason. So, as soon as most of those enemies are dead, again, I've got that one shank there. The turrets are up, but it's not a big deal. I put down a barrier shield, and I go to town. Just literally just start to shoot as much Jotun as you possibly can. Luckily, I've got special ammo finder on, and you will see that there is a bunch of special ammo that I've left scattered through the map. Now, if you want to, you can throw a grenade at this point, but again, I'm going to want to save my grenade just in case if we get closer to the end. I still have 1 minute and 28 seconds, and that's with some mistakes and things like that. I'm still in pretty good shape. I think if that opening room had gone a little bit better, I'd probably be here with probably 2 to 3 minutes left. instead of the 1 minute and 15 seconds. And just keep basically running around the area, picking up whatever special ammunition you haven't picked up. You will notice that I ran around that special ammunition when I was making my way to the left-hand tank. Now, this is a perfect spot right here where you can do some great damage to the boss. He doesn't have a really good shot at you. You can basically just go back and forth. You can put a barrier down, but the turrets can't hit you. The shank that is up can't really hit you because you're out of range, but that Jotun can do massive damage to the boss, and you can go to town. As soon as you start to run out of Jotun, you're going to shift over to your machine gun, which should hopefully still have a ton of ammunition left in it. Again, I'm using my 21% Delirium, but again, Hammerhead would work really well in this section. And since I've used primarily Jotun and my supers to clear all of the tanks, I've got plenty of ammunition left over to kill the final boss. And if you have not gotten it yet, you will get your Outbreak perfected. I think it could have been a better run if those shanks at the beginning hadn't had teleported around so much. Again, your results may vary, but that's everything that you need to complete 0 hour with no Whisper the Worm, no Orpheus Rig, no Ahamkara Skull, nothing else like that, no PvP Pinnacle weapons like Recluse or Mountaintop. If you did like something in this video, a positive rating is greatly appreciated. Hit that subscribe button for more Destiny 2 content. I'm going to be covering the new King of DPS, which is something you should be farming from the Iron Banner, some different Iron Banner weapons you should be farming for, different things with the Menagerie and Crown of Sorrows. And if you haven't checked me out on twitch.tv/manodester777, I love helping people get their Whisper the Worms, Outbreak perfected, all of those different things. Go check me out over there. Definitely helps me out a ton. Good hunting, Guardians, and I'll see you next time in the universe of Destiny.